The land of Israel is a land of incredible geographic complexity. I'm Jack Beck. I'm a Bible geographer, and I'm here in the Holy Land in order to explore all the geographical differences that this land has to offer. And I'm doing it as a Bible teacher because in order to best understand our Bible and the stories that only fit in the places that they occur, we're going to go on a trip that visits all sorts of different places in this region. We've been focusing on the Galilee region and the expectations surrounding Jesus and his ministry. We're wrapping up our time here, but one critical question needs to be answered before we continue our journey. Why did Jesus spend almost all his time in the Galilee region and not Jerusalem? And I'm taking you to one of my favorite comfort zones, classroom, to begin to answer this question about Jesus' teaching, his miracles, and who would be invited into his coming kingdom. You know, I'm often asked, Jesus spent only 3 years in public ministry on this earth. Why did he spend the bulk of that time up in the Galilee area around Capernaum rather than down here in Jerusalem? Well, I'm going to use this map to help answer that question for all of us. This map, I think, illustrates very well that the land of Israel is a land bridge. It's a bridge that connects 3 different continents: Europe, Africa, and Asia. The bridge itself is only about 70 miles wide, but it provides escape from 2 very, very different environments: the Syrian desert to the east and the Mediterranean Sea to the west. Now, when ancient merchants and ancient armies were moving between these 3 continents, they wanted nothing to do with climbing mountains. And so they chose a travel route that avoided the high elevations as much as they could. They came up from Egypt along Israel's coastal plain. They moved north. They sneaked their way through a passageway in Mount Carmel, turned east in the Jezreel Valley, and then north into Galilee. You see what that route tells us? It tells us that they avoided Jerusalem, the religious center. But the economic center, Galilee, was right in the bullseye. So why in the world would Jesus spend so much of his time here on earth in the Galilee area, working out of Capernaum? That's where the people are. Now we know Jesus was here in the Galilee region because more people were here to listen to his message. But what kind of people? Places like Capernaum and Magdala had massive Jewish populations. But we're headed to the northeast side of the lake, to the ruins of an ancient Christian church at Kursi, built to memorialize a famous miracle Jesus performed here. A miracle for a decidedly non-Jewish audience. This place is a real puzzle to me. You know, virtually all of the stories from Jesus' ministry in Galilee took place on the other side of the Sea of Galilee. But here on the eastern side, we have this monumental structure from the 5th century. What is there about this side of the lake that these Byzantine Christians are so interested in remembering? One of the places we can look for the answer is here, in the mosaics. 5th century Byzantine Christians, often in this floor art, tell us what it is that's important to them about a place. So let's see if there's something in these 5th century mosaics that's helpful. I see a chalice, that's pretty ordinary. I see a lily, that's a symbol of the resurrection, but also pretty typical art. But right there, the baskets, those suggest a story that might motivate this sort of building. When I think of baskets in the context of Jesus' miracles, my mind always goes to food. I'm just a little north of the church at Kursi, walking next to this modern agricultural field. It's here in this area, in the Decapolis, where Jesus did the miracle of the feeding of the 4,000. It's an amazing miracle where 4,000 families came out to listen to Jesus. And he did a miracle, making sure that they didn't go home without a meal. If that sounds familiar, Jesus did exactly the same sort of miracle over there. The difference, the miracle on that side of the lake was for 5,000 Jewish families. This miracle was for 4,000 Gentile families. Jesus was expanding expectations about the kingdom. Jesus was preparing the disciples to hear these amazing words. Among the last that he delivered, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I've commanded you, and surely I'm with you always to the very end of the age." Gentiles have always been part of this landscape. And the question is, are those Gentiles part of Jesus' vision for an eternal kingdom? The feeding of the 4,000 says, absolutely. And that's incredibly good news. If, like me, you are a Gentile wondering how you fit into the complexity of this story around the lake, Jesus fed the 5,000 there. This is the side of the lake I would have been living on. And Jesus comes to this side of the lake to tell me, you're part of my kingdom too. Everything Jesus said and did in the Galilee region transformed expectations people had about their Messiah. Jesus physically changed lives, healed souls, cast out demons, calmed storms, and embraced a cross for his saving grace to be offered to all people for all time.